answers the question, should I pursue my passion, my dream, or whatever my dream career or goal, right? Should I pursue it or not?
Okay.
Right? You probably, this is probably one of the most searchable Google questions that people ask. Should I pursue my dream, and how? You probably, right? You've heard this question. Of course,
yeah.
And what's like the common advice you hear, like that you've heard?
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or don't give up on your dreams, or go all in.
Nice.
Things like that.
Well, yeah. And listen, there is definitely some truth to it, right?
Okay.
Because if you want to pursue something, and if there's one obstacle and you give up, then maybe you didn't really want it, or you're not as strong as you think you are, right? Mm-hmm. But that's very vague information. But my father actually gave me like a good little mindset or thing to have in mind. He gave me something called a litmus test, which is basically, it's like a test that you can do on yourself, right? Because only you can really answer this to see if it's the right way to do it or not, right?
Right. Okay.
So basically, he told me it was this. He said, listen, first of all, you have to know who you are as a person.
Okay.
If you really want to chase something, and let's say that dream is like becoming a movie star, a singer, you want to paint for a living, whatever the case is. Basically, that dream, you're not going to get money immediately, right? That's the way he would paint it for me. You need to ask yourself this. Are you willing to suffer physically, maybe mentally, not have luxuries quicker, right? So there's going to be a delayed gratification for at least 3 to 10 years. That's the way he would give it to me. Mm-hmm. So you might not be in a relationship or a steady one. You might not have money, no savings, might not be able to go out to restaurants. Are you willing? And of course, there's other things he could add too, but are you willing to suffer like that and just put everything you have into it to go pursue that dream? If the answer is yes, and you really mean it, then go ahead and do it. But even if you hesitate, like, I don't know about this, I could do the rest, but I don't know if I could do that or this. Okay. My father would tell me, don't do it then. Then what you do is get a short career or get a job, right? Maybe you don't even have to go to school, but get something that can give you consistent money. Use that money to pay your bills, to live your life, save. And on the side, at nighttime, on the weekends, do your side hustle. But even if you hesitate a little bit on that litmus test, don't do it. But if you are determined enough and you don't care about gratification right now and you're willing to take that risk, go do it. That's basically, in a nutshell, what he would tell me. And it's interesting because I would say, this is what my father would tell me, 80% of people are not going to be able to pass that litmus test. 80%. But then
I would agree, yeah.
The 20% are the people who are willing to do the extreme.
Right.
And I'll just give you one example, and then I would like to hear what you think.
I have something to say. But.
Oh, no, so ask me that then if you want.
No, I was just going to say, like, then this is, like, very similar to the expression, like, high risk, high reward, in a sense, right? Like, if you're willing to risk more, the option of a higher reward could be there much faster than if you risk less, then it probably take more time to even achieve that goal.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, for example, it's like if you go to college, just using college now. Okay. I'm not saying people have to go to college, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a different conversation.
That's a different conversation. If you go to medical school, okay, and you do all that to become a surgeon versus you just go to school to become, I don't know, a physical therapist assistant, okay, right? Obviously, the physical therapist assistant school is much less.
100%.
You'll finish quicker. You can start making money quicker, but the amount of money is astronomically different. I can imagine, yeah. Right? One of the highest paid doctors is an orthopedist. They're a surgeon, but they're also a doctor, and whatever the case is. A lot more time in school, but the amount of money you're going to make is super bigger than a PTA, right?
Right.
But I want to end with this example, and you clearly know one of my favorite movie directors is
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, you know me, yes. And I think we've seen some of his movies and we enjoy it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, same.
So I don't know if you know the story, but one time he was on this interview. I think he was being interviewed by Larry King. I think I could be wrong, but he was being interviewed when he was very young, and they asked him, "How does it feel to be an overnight success? Because you came out of nowhere, and now you're this amazing up and coming director." And he told him, he said, "Listen, I'm not an up and coming I'm not an overnight success.
Right.
It took me 8 years of failure to get here. And very quickly, he only worked at a video store. And the first 3 years, when he actually started to try and make a movie, His first 3 years, once he finished, he realized the movie was crap.
Okay.
He looked at everything he did and he threw it away. He had to restart. So by the time he got to his 8th year, when he finally made a great movie and it got attention, it took him 8 years to finally get there. But he was willing to sacrifice 8 years. He says in the interview, I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a fallback plan because this is all I want to do. But he was willing to have a delayed gratification, right, to get what he wanted. I think he just got married now in his 50s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was all in about his craft. But as I mentioned, as my father said, most people are not willing to do all that, so do the plan B.
Got you. Okay, so question for you.
Yeah.
Where do you think you landed when you asked yourself those questions or when you took that litmus test, right? Where do you think you would say you put yourself in when he told you that?
Definitely in the 80%, 100%.
The 80%, okay.
A mix because I wanted money as soon as possible.
Okay.
That's number one. I wanted money as soon as possible to start to build financial freedom, right? Or at least to get some savings.
Right.
But also because on how we were raised, right? That also played a part. But I think we could talk about that some other time. But definitely, and the B.
And I think the majority of people fall in that.
Correct. 80%.
Which is not a bad thing either. It just, it depends.
Correct.
What you want to go for.
It's definitely not bad because, right? It's not bad because it just means that your life has to be altered a little bit different. Right. That's it. Some people can risk everything and go all in. Some people,
it's very circumstantial at the same time. I believe.
How so? You're right, but I want to see what.
Like
what
if
you
your
mean.
parents can't, in a sense, you're a young guy. And you're not getting supported by your parents. You've had to work since at a young, early age, since teenage years, I'm talking about. For you to pursue your dream will probably be harder because you need to provide for your family and help out. I'm talking about like a lot of poor people, right? But if you're in a financial stable situation, your parents are providing everything for you. You have really nothing to worry about.
Correct. Yeah.
Pursuing into that dream. I think it'd be easier. I'm not saying that person can't, but it would take a lot more courage to do so. A lot more
chutzpah, a lot more balls, as they say.
Right.
Yeah, because if you're older too, you have a family, like a kids and a wife and a husband, much harder. If you're out on your own, you're right. It's very few population that have the circumstances plus the personality.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
To be extreme and stuff like that. So, but basically, in conclusion, what I would say is, if you're asking yourself, what should I pursue my dreams? I would say most of the time is, you should pursue your goal or your dreams, because if you don't pursue it, you might resent yourself, someone else, or your circumstances. So yes, figure out a way to do it. Maybe you won't accomplish it, or maybe you don't think, or maybe you'll find out, I actually don't love this, or I'm not as good as I think I am.
Right.
So you can always adjust.
You adjust as you go.
Correct. Unless you die, but that's besides the point, right? But so I think of yourself like this,
Right. I think your point falls well into my first point of like, if you want to like pursue that thing in life, whatever it is, I think it's important the people you surround yourself with, right?
I think it depends, but yeah, tell me more. Yeah.
Like for example, my first quote, one thing that helped me throughout life was, don't waste your time with people that refuse to grow. If you got to continue being the bigger person, you are hanging around with too many small people.
Read it again, a little slower.
Don't waste your time with people that refuse to grow.
Okay.
If you got to continue being the bigger person, you're hanging around with too many small people.
Okay.
I think, well, number one, I think this point helped me a lot in life, because if you want to continue to grow in any circumstances, you have to hang around with the right people, right? But if you got to continue being the bigger person, that can mean in many different ways. If I got to continue like I got to be behind this person all the time, or this person doesn't acknowledge my point. I don't think you're surrounding yourself around the right people. And then, like, they're not continuing to grow as you are wanting to, or as you are doing, then they're, like, in a sense, holding you back. So I believe that your surroundings is a very big impact on if you're going to grow or not.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
But no, I definitely see what you just said.
Okay.
But then the question is, what makes someone grow and someone else doesn't grow? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you're hanging out with 5 of your buddies, but you start to grow. You're saying you start to grow.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, at what point during your process of growing, when do you realize, like, hey, these people are, it's not that they're below you, but they're not growing with you. Like, at what point in your journey do you realize that? And you're like, okay, these people are not going to grow with me. So they're not going to add value, and we're just not at the same level.
Well, right. So the one thing that ties in with this is that I applied to my life was don't hang out with people that don't add value to your life, right?
That don't add value.
That don't add value to your life. So while you're going about life, and if you have goals, right? For example, I want to become financially free. I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to give something back to my parents, stuff like that. You obviously have a goal to reach. If you surround yourself with people that continuously just want to party, or you see they don't take their job seriously, they're just hanging out every weekend and spending all their money, then are those people really helping you grow? You really have to ask yourself those questions, right? Because I believe the person that if you both have the same goal, and you see that they're growing as well as you are as well, is because you guys are not everything doing the same thing, but in similarities, right? Both of you guys are putting your money into investments or looking into stuff. Both of you guys are working overtime, hustling, doing what you got to do, instead of, like partying and doing stuff like that. So I feel like that has a great impact on, on your growth.
Would you say, and again, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here.
Okay.
If you start to notice that your values and your goals have changed, because as you said, things change, right?
Okay.
And you see that your friends or the people or your coworkers, whatever the case is, they're not growing as well. Do you think it's smart, or you should also try to help them grow? Like, tell them what you're doing so you can convince them to grow?
Of course, as well, yeah.
So you're saying that you're saying if you're growing, I'll tell them about it, and if they decide to also change and join me, they're adding value to each other. But if not, I just drop them. Like, how's that work?
Well, that's it's very circumstantial, and it all depends on how you want to approach the situation, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying there can't be good friends that don't want to grow, but they could be good friends. That could be a reality as well. But I believe that if you're the smartest guy in the room, that's already a problem.
I do say that, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room, because you continuously want to be challenging yourself. You continuously want to be growing. So if you're not surrounding yourself with people that aren't, reaching these milestones as you are, or, staying in communication with you on how to reach our goals faster or in a better way, then I believe potentially you're wasting your time. So, like, then you have the option, right? Do I want to let go of these friends? Should I just keep them at a distance? So it all depends, I guess, on how good your friends are, right? Like, maybe you keep them at a distance, but, understand that they don't have the same goals as you, and surround yourself with people that have the same goals as you. But if you want to, include them and they're along for the journey, or they have those same ambitions and goals as you, then, no problem. It will probably even be better, because you already trust somebody to go along with you in that journey.
But, you said something about the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
I've actually heard people ask that. I'm just curious to hear your answer. How do you know if you're the smartest person in the room?
That's a good question.
How do you know? Everyone knows that expression.
Yes.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You got to go to the different room. Ty Lopez, Patrick Bet-David.
Yes, he does.
A lot of these very intelligent people have said it.
Yes.
Just curious, in your, like, how would you see it? Like, how can you tell if you're the smartest person in the room or in your friendship? What do you think?
I think it's less about what you say and more about what you're doing. Right? Okay. So like if you're in a group of friends and you're continuously a person that says, oh, I want to, just as the best example I could think of.
Yeah, as an example, yeah.
Approach financial freedom or get closer, but you're not doing anything and you're actually showing the opposite, then, you know, your words don't mean much.
Okay.
But if you're a person that you're continuously, you know, reaching your goals, you're getting this done, you're getting that done, and you find yourself in a room where you're talking to people about this, but people tend to like, oh yeah, that's cool, whatever, yeah, I want to do it as well. Yeah, we should do this, we should do that. And then you try to plan something with them and it doesn't go because they backtracked or they flaked out or they don't have the money, they haven't been able to save up. And it's, you know, it's because you can give people chances, but if it's already taken a while, then you start noticing that their words don't match their actions, right? Actions will speak louder. So by you noticing that, you're already like, I'm potentially the smartest guy in this room because I'm the only one taking action when it comes to reaching my goal, while other people aren't. So I think that would be one way to differentiate. Because if you're in a room and you're talking to different individuals, or what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, yes, I already bought, you know, real estate here. I've been looking into this condo, and you see how those conversations flow around you. You're like, well, like, I haven't done that yet. How did this person get to do that? That automatically should tell you that you're not the smartest person in the room. Accomplishments, achievements through other individuals, or what have they done in their life? I think that should already tell you to a degree that you're not the smartest person in the room. But while if you hang out with other people that, you know, haven't been able to, you know, achieve those things, I get it. Not everyone is at that same point. Correct. But if you're not even, if that other room or that other group isn't showing any action towards it, then yeah, I would say you're the smartest person in that room, and that's already a problem.
So basically, from what I understand, and I like your answer, you're basically saying observation and a track record. You're observing other people. What is it that you've done so far?
Yeah.
Has he done something? Has he not done something? I mean, you're also very a person that observes a lot, so that makes sense why you would say that. And then you say track record. Right. Okay, you observe. Have they done this? Okay, and how successful, right, have they been, or their actions? What's their track record of actually doing something?
Right.
So that's what you're saying. You're going to observe the room, and you're going to talk, communicate, whatever, be a conversationalist, and then you're going to see their records, and then you're going to kind of compare the track records.
Yeah, it's the same thing with everything. You go out to a place, you're checking out the reviews, everyone looks at the track record. Yeah. How well has it done? How well hasn't it done? If you want a mentor, you know, you got to look for a mentor, you know, that's been able to do well.
Correct,
everyone naturally, I would say, looks at track records. And I believe that's a way to be able to tell if you're the smartest person in the room or not. And, you know, potentially when you hang out with smart people, they'll put you in other rooms that
are beyond your level.
And then it's the big thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I get it. At the same time, like, sometimes you grew up with people and it's hard to let go, right? And I'm not saying you have to let go to a full extent. You know, sometimes, you know, you have to. And, you know, at the end of the day, I would say things happen for a reason. So, like, I feel like, obviously, you have to play with the cards you've been dealt with, but you make the best out of it.